Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of Abbey Research Reads. I am Dr. Erin, one of the good doctors of Abbey Research, and today I would like to talk to you about the book The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And this book was first published in 2010, 2011. I first heard about it because Michelle was included in the fantastic work by Ava DuVernay, one of my illustrious Funko Pops behind me, and her brilliant documentary 13th, which was about the 13th Amendment, which effectively abolished slavery with the provision that we could still pretty much enslave you if you were convicted of a crime. And the new Jim Crow is an detailed and excoriating examination of what the United States criminal justice system did after the passage of the 13th Amendment and how it continued to perpetuate systems of oppression against people of color, but specifically Black folks, throughout all the many iterations of what justice looked like and how it was enforced in this country, from a post-Reconstruction era on. And the reason we're highlighting the new Jim Crow in this book channel is because we are, at Abbey Research, inherently educators with a focus on empowering inclusive communities. And you can't be an inclusive community anywhere if you don't understand the history and the context for a lot of the social issues that we find facing our country as a whole, but specifically Black Americans. And what I mean by this is there are so many things happening in the news today as I'm recording this about voter suppression laws, about the rights of returning citizens, formerly incarcerated citizens, and whether they have the right to vote. And the franchise of participating in our democracy has almost always entirely been restricted. And so Michelle's foundational work on this, on exploring the ways in which we went from an enslavement-based economy to perpetuating discrimination against Black folks in this country through the Jim Crow laws in the South and into the new Jim Crow, which she highlights really as mass incarceration as we know it in the United States. And this is certainly a lot of the focus of the 13th documentary as well. But what this book teaches you, aside from American history in a lens that I had yet to receive it, is the significance of this idea that is foundational to this country, really, if we're being honest, that white people are superior. We colonized all of the land that makes up the United States, taking the land from indigenous people violently and consistently throughout our history. And we called it westward expansion. We called it manifest destiny. We brought enslaved people from Africa to work the land that we stole from indigenous folks. And when you re-examine American history through the lens of the experiences of these other marginalized groups, you start to understand how excluded people have been from participating in the economy, in business, in home ownership, in land ownership, in acquiring loans and mortgages for homes, and being a part of all the things that make up citizenship in the United States. And it's a very big topic, and it's a very overwhelming topic, especially if, as a white person in a position of privilege, you have not confronted these issues yet. And there's so much work being done about mass incarceration in the United States. There's a I could give you a laundry list of books written about it. But the reason we wanted to highlight the new Jim Crow on this channel is it's a great place to start. If you don't know anything about it, if you don't know why, you've seen people talking about the latest law passed in Georgia as a Jim Crow law. And you remember a little bit about Jim Crow laws from your US history class in high school. Start with Michelle Alexander. As I said, it is foundational towards, we talk about inclusivity so much on our channel and what it means to build inclusive communities. But you can't build an inclusive community until you understand all the ways in which people are being excluded. And this book is kind of like, it's a strange example, but it's kind of like one of those conspiracy theorist charts that you see in movies with all of the strings connecting all the bits of information. And once you start to see all of the strings that exist within systemic racism, which mass incarceration is a huge element of it now, of this system of racism that we have created and enacted in this country, you can start to understand how you can work towards those inclusive communities and build empathy towards people's experiences that you have not lived or you do not understand. So, pretty obviously recommending this book here for Abbey Research Reads. I would wager it has always been topical, no matter what was going on in the United States currently or around the world, in terms of how we do and don't deal with racism. But certainly for this time period when this video is going up, as we are in the midst of the Derek Chauvin murder trial and reliving the horror that was the murder of George Floyd, and as we are talking about voter access and voter restrictions and what it means to be a multiracial democracy, this is an exceptionally timely read. So find it at your local bookshop where you will not regret giving it some time. It's very difficult but essential reading. So that is our Abbey Research Reads for today. We'll see you guys next time.